Anthony Joshua on vacation, flexing on the haters, and Eddie Hearn says he wants nothing more than to be undisputed at heavyweight. Stay tuned. Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I just watched the interview. Shout out to Seconds Out. The link is in the description box so you can listen to it and watch it verbatim. And Eddie Hearn was promoting the fight week for DAZN's fight this weekend, which is an undisputed great fight against Tony Bellew. Game, you know, he's a dog in there. It was in the movie Creed, the first one. The new one I'm really stoked to see. And he's fighting against Alexander Usyk, who's friends with Lomachenko. He has a similar pedigree, you know, amateur background, crazy footwork. He's pretty big, like he's in shape and he's confident. And he just won the World Boxing Super Series, so obviously his confidence is most likely at an all-time high. Now, through this, you know, Eddie Hearn's talking about DAZN, and, you know, Eddie Hearn, he's smart the way he answers certain questions, because the host was asking Eddie Hearn certain questions, like a lot of people are confused. Did you bring in Canelo? Are you a part of that? Are you in DAZN, like, in charge of... And just listen to Eddie Hearn's response. Listen to what he said. He basically said that Golden Boy, like I've been telling you, did their own deal with DAZN. DAZN is a platform. It's just like HBO, you know, it's just a streaming app, you know. So Golden Boy has their own deal, and there is no Eddie Hearns as a middleman, which is what I told you. A lot of people were falsely giving credit to Eddie Hearn. Now you can give credit to Eddie Hearn because, you know, like Ray J, I hit it first. You know, he was the first person from boxing who was banging and, you know, repping, throwing up his DAZN flag. You can give him that. But as far as him acquiring and the acquisition of Canelo on the app, it didn't have anything to do with Eddie Hearn, you know, because Eddie Hearn didn't have a fighter as big as Canelo on there. And this was established. Oscar De La Hoya is on record saying that he had a relationship with John Skipper, who is one of the frontmen for Perform Group, which is the company and, you know, the business, the brains behind the streaming app DAZN. They put it together. They front the money and whatnot. And he used to work at ESPN, and De La Hoya, obviously pro fighter, just being in the industry, he had a relationship with him. So he set up a meeting with Eric Gomez and Skipper and De La Hoya, and then they said, hey, HBO Boxing going out of business. We got a free agent, Canelo. We need to find a home. What could you offer us? Right? So just to clear that up. Now, back to what Eddie Hearns was saying about Undisputed. He's talking about how, he said, you know, it actually surprised me a little bit. He said this fight, Tony Bellew versus Alexander Usyk, is, as a promoter, his biggest fight that he's ever promoted. You know, it's interesting that he said that, because he promoted some pretty big fights, you know, like Joshua Klitschko, and then also Carl Froch, George Groves. But I guess the reason he was saying it is because it's the absolute best. It means the most. It's the most meaningful. There's no way you could slice it. You know, Tony Bellew was and still is the WBC emeritus champion, or champion in recess or whatever. So he was a beast. The only reason he's not currently a champion and Alexander Usyk was eligible for that belt was because he moved up to pursue a big domestic fight with David Haye. Not only did Tony Bellew accept the fights, he won both of them, and he won them by stoppage. The first fight, David Haye obviously had a physical injury that we all seen, so people were like, oh, okay, you know, unfortunate situation. And a lot of people thought that's why Tony Bellew won. But guess what? He did it again. You know, so you can't really say shit to that man. This is a good fight this weekend. So Eddie Hearns is talking about how Undisputed, how it means so much, and, you know, this is the biggest fight that he's promoted. And he says Joshua wants the same thing. And he said he wants the same thing for Joshua. He says, I want nothing more than for this to happen to Joshua. You know, you beat this guy and you hold all the keys. You're Thanos with all the Infinity Stones, basically, right? So let's see. You know, I hope Eddie Hearns is a man of his word, but, you know, I don't know, because Tyson Fury has a shot versus Deontay Wilder, and the narrative and the conversation for Tyson Fury, from what I've heard from Eddie Hearns, is all negative. It's never anything about, hey, we're sending him an offer or a contract should he win, you know? So that being said, even if you predict Wilder to win, you can't just assume that Wilder gets it done December 1st. I think Wilder will win too, but, you know, anybody could have a fight prediction. So if Joshua really and truly wants to do Undisputed and be undisputed, you should really be trying to negotiate with both parties, you know, since you have no time to wait. But everything I've heard from Eddie Hearns was about Wilder, and Wilder refuses to meet up, and Shelly Finkel in Wilder's camp, you know. But why not introduce Tyson Fury to the negotiations in case he wins, which is not like out of the question, because a lot of people thought it was out of the question when Vladimir Klitschko was fighting Tyson Fury. They're like, oh, hell no, Steve Cunningham knocked Tyson Fury down, you know, so no way he gets past Dr. Steelhammer. Klitschko is a legend. He hadn't lost in like a decade, you know, so you can't tell me that everybody was picking Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury must have a crazy self-belief, because I know for that particular fight, it wasn't in his favor from the crowd. The crowd was not siding with him, you know. And Eddie Hearns also said in this interview, he says you have basically one shot and one opportunity in April, because if we fight someone else in April, then he's going to have mandatories. And Wilder or whoever has the WBC strap is going to do a fight, and then, you know, he says who knows when it'll happen. So, you know, I'm not sold that they really want Undisputed. I hope 2019 we'd be off to a great year if we can get Undisputed heavyweight champion. I mean, this out of all divisions, because you have to look at it, the heavyweight division is like the max division. You can't gain more weight and then go into, you know, super duper heavyweight division. It is that's the top division, and that's the division from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s that was popping. It wasn't about the little guys, you know, the smaller Chocolatitos and Pacquiao's and Mayweather. It became and it evolved, you know, with Prince Nassim's and Floyd Mayweather. You know, it evolved into some of the smaller weight classes, you know, Nonito Donaire's and different things like that. Lomachenko now, Rigondeaux. But those weren't the glamour divisions. It was always the heavyweight division. So that's why me personally, I'm pushing so hard, because I want to see this. This is what boxing needs. And it's like the heavyweight division would be the heart of boxing to me, you know. Like the other divisions could be the bicep, the shoulders, the leg, the arm, the brain, you know, everything else. But the heart of the division to me is the heavyweight division. So we naturally want to see it thrive. For me also is, I thought, you know, for lack of better terms, the heavyweight division was garbage for a while, meaning it was Klitschko or bust. I remember it was like, I don't even know if I watched every single Klitschko fight when they aired it live, because if I had an errand to run or something, you know, going out to the club or whatever, you know, that might be more pressing, because it wasn't like a mega fight where you have to sit at home to predict the outcome. You knew what the outcome was going to be before, you know, just because the Klitschkos are really good, and then the division was pretty dormant. You know, there wasn't any names that really like resonated that could possibly beat him, you know. So when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko, it shook things up. You know, there were people before like David Hayes where people were like, oh, okay, this guy could do something and beat Klitschko. Alexander Povetkin, even Kubrat Pulev and Robert Helenius, but they all failed. You know, it was Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury came and did that. You know, so you whether you think it's boring or not, that's what Eddie Hearn likes to say. but it don't matter. He still did it. You know, he did it before Joshua. Joshua's best resume name is Klitschko, coming off of a loss. So, you know, who knows? What if Klitschko knocked out Tyson Fury, and then would Joshua fight Klitschko, you know, coming off of a knockout win again? You know, would Eddie Hearns have made that fight? And Joshua was already in a hellacious fight with the version of Klitschko who was on an 18-month layoff, plus lost to Tyson Fury. So imagine, you know, if you put your thinking cap on, imagine had Klitschko won and kept his confidence and not been on a long layoff, you know, just another day at the office, and beat Tyson Fury, you know, things might have been different in the Joshua fight. But obviously now it's neither here nor there. He's retired and it's all speculation. Just something to think about. So we'll see. You know, right now you see the thumbnail pic. Anthony Joshua, he's in shape per usual. He's on vacation in Jamaica, and you know, I hope he's enjoying himself, because there's going to be a lot of expectations. I think it would be really great. I don't know, like if you can go to Jamaica and stuff like that, I think it would be really great to show. See, this is another reason why I don't know if Team Joshua really wants to fight like they say on camera, because if you go to Jamaica and you can turn up to Derek Chisora, Dillian White too, you know, I understand that's closer to home, but if you really want to fight the winner of the main event, I always see, even if they're not part of that promotional imprint, I always see fighters looking and scouting the competition. I always see it. You know, if whoever, you know, like let's say Terrence Crawford is fighting, you know, and Regis Prograis knows he might fight Terrence Crawford at some point. Regis Prograis will be at Terrence Crawford's fight, or vice versa. If Regis Prograis is fighting, Terrence Crawford might go out there just to study, you know, see what the competition, scout, you know. So it'd be really great if Anthony Joshua, like I said, you can go on vacation and go to Chisora, Dillian White too, which definitely doesn't have the same level of impact as a fight with Wilder and Fury. It'd be good if he showed up in LA. He was just in, you know, partying or whatever, chilling in a club with Broner, I think in Miami. So, you know, I just feel like if you could do all that, show your enthusiasm and dedication to wanting to be undisputed, like your promoter's saying and like you're saying, by showing up, pull up, you know, because Wilder, Fury, the winner of that, they're not going to trip if you get in the ring, you know, unlike the opposing situation when Joshua didn't want them in the ring. So we're going to see soon, but I have a feeling like, you know, intuition is telling me that it's not as is being stated by Eddie Hearn. You know, I really don't see this enthusiasm with trying to be undisputed like he's saying here, but we'll see, you know. But shout out to DAZN, Alexander Usyk, Tony Bellew. That's why fights like that are great, because it establishes the numero uno, El Capitan of the division. We need that at heavyweight. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.